Good Monday morning, you guys. I hope y'all are doing good. I know that some of y'all are in school, you're doing it online, or you're there in person. But I want you guys to know that today is still a good day because today is the day that the Lord has made, and it is still good. Before we get into our devotion this morning, I just want to remind you guys to sign up for our ski retreat if you haven't yet, and that your first deposit is due November 4th. All right, so put that down in your calendars right now. November 4th, that is when your first deposit is due. Also, if you would like to go with us on our mission trip over the summer, that you need to sign up for that by January 15th. And also remember to sign up for our Wednesday night services at 6:30. If you're not able to make it, we will still be posting the messages on YouTube. So you can still watch them. You can still stay up to date. We're going to be starting Philippians, or we're going to be more in Philippians chapter 2 this week. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you guys are also. Okay, so we're getting into our devotion this morning. We're going to be in Colossians chapter 2, verse 23, and Colossians 3, verse 1. Okay, so it's the last verse of Colossians chapter 2 and the first verse of Colossians chapter 3. Now, Paul writes this in Colossians 2:23. These have indeed an appearance of wisdom in promoting self-made religion and asceticism and severity to the body, but they are of no value in stopping the indulgence of the flesh. If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. So what we do there is we kind of catch Paul at the end in verse 23. We catch Paul at the end of this thought that he makes, starting in really in verse 16, but in verse 21, he's telling the church in Colossae, there are people out there that are going through these motions and these strict disciplines in order to do what they feel is appeasing to God and do what they feel is righteous and all of this. When he says this self-made religion and asceticism, what he's talking about here with asceticism is he's talking about like this rigorous physical discipline of denying yourself desires of the flesh. It would almost be like kind of punishing you. Like you've probably heard of that thing where you put a rubber band on your wrist, and every time you think about something you want to do, you snap it. And Paul says they're of no value. He says they are of no value because they don't lead to actual change. They don't lead to an actual difference. They don't lead to an actual change of spirit. And so in verse 1 of chapter 3, he says, if then you have been raised with Christ. And because earlier in verse 20 of chapter 2, he says, if with Christ you died to the elemental spirits of the world, why were you still alive? Why, as if you were still alive in the world, do you submit to regulations? And he says, if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. So here in verse 1, he brings this comparison of this thought that he started in verse 20 of chapter 2. And in verse 1, of chapter 3, he brings this comparison. He says, if you died with Christ to the elemental spirits of the world, and it's not about self-regulation, it's not about, fulfilling these physical laws, but you've been raised with Christ into a new life, and you've been raised with Christ into a new spirit, then focus on those things. Don't focus on, trying to stop yourself from doing the things of the world, doing the things in, that are bad, and punishing yourself for that. Fix your eyes on the things of God, the things that are above. Fix your eyes on that. That's my word for you guys this morning. I hope you guys have a great Monday, and I will see you guys same time, same station tomorrow. Have a good one.